Anthony Spurgeon. Are you familiar with a character named Xemu in Marvel Comics created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby? He first appeared in an issue of Journey into Mystery, a Marvel issue from 1960. He's basically a giant hairy alien who was banished from his home planet and sent to the prison planet Earth. Do you think it's likely at all that Hubbard took this Marvel character and adapted him into his OT3 material? I had heard another story about Hubbard being influenced by Star Wars to some degree and wondered if there was any legitimacy to that. Anthony, it is entirely possible that L. Ron Hubbard read this comic book and was somehow influenced by it. However, we will note the 7-year difference. L. Ron Hubbard tended to take things right away and use them right away in his work. He would read it, take it, put it into Scientology. Or somebody like the Burners would come and present study tech to him and tell him all about how misunderstood words and the lack of mass or not having the thing you're studying in front of you is harmful to your study and could get in the way of your study. The next day, L. Ron Hubbard is standing in front of his students in the lecture hall telling them about study tech and how it's his invention and telling them whole stories about this. So he was kind of quick on the draw on this. And that's the only reason why I have to doubt that he had taken this story from 1960 in a comic book and then put all of Scientology into this thing. But it's close enough of a parallel that you kind of have to scratch your head and go, yeah, but, you know, and maybe it's entirely possible that somebody didn't hand him the comic book until 1966 or 67. It is entirely possible that L. Ron Hubbard read comic books and got ideas from them. That is absolutely a possibility. I can't say it's not. I know for a fact L. Ron Hubbard took material from the National Enquirer and from Reader's Digest and other sort of home improvement or dailies or weekly circulars and stuff like that. Hubbard would read that stuff. And we know we have evidence of that because he made policies out of it or wrote issues about the stuff that he would read. So, and John Atack and I have talked about as far as sources of Scientology and how well-read L. Ron Hubbard might have been, that he wasn't well-read. He didn't like to study. It hurt his head. And he was not a well-read person, but he liked to make it seem like he was. You see, he would fake it. He'd pretend. And so this is why I grant that it's entirely possible that this comic book story is real. But at the end of the day, nobody has any proof of anything. It's just an interesting coincidence. And it certainly is interesting. As far as the Star Wars thing, as I just mentioned, L. Ron Hubbard was big on Star Wars because it was such a cash cow. And nobody saw it coming. Star Wars took everybody completely by surprise in 1977. So when he saw that happening, he went, well, I got a story I can tell that's better than that. And he put together Revolt in the Stars. And if you read Revolt in the Stars, you are going to very quickly come to the conclusion, probably by about page 2 or 3, that it is no Star Wars. And it is really bad. And that's why it never got off the ground. So so that's the story on that.